everybody, and welcome to Row 60, a Georgia football podcast. My name is Clark Gaines. Joining me today, as always, Adam Thornton.
Boom!
And this is show number 56, and this is going to be a humongous episode.
Let's go! Clark,
This
is one of my favorite episodes of the year. This is our third one. Can you believe this is our third Georgia football season preview? It's here. It's here, man. We're getting updates on how scrimmages are going, how fall camp's starting out, man. Heading into the middle of August. So just days away from week 0, which is a blessing. I will take some Hawaii Vanderbilt. Inject that into me right now. Give me that right now. Give me Southern California versus San Jose State. Right now, I'll be glued to the TV. Coming up, man. Let's go.
Let's do it,
Let's go.
On this episode, we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff, okay? First of all, we've got some college football predictions, big picture stuff for this season. We're also going to be running through Georgia's regular season, going into each game. Not a ton of depth, right? We're going to skim over some games. And then at the end, we're going to talk about our top 4. Who's in our top 4?
Yes.
And Adam, I got some responses from the Row 60 patrons.
Nice.
And I've got a couple of interesting ones we'll talk about later from them.
All right. I love it.
And then who's going to make it to the national championship game, Adam?
I don't know, Clark. I don't know. I mean, this year, man, it's exciting because there's a lot of ways you can see some stuff go. You can see some old traditional powers from back in the day who really haven't been relevant on the college football scene when it's talk about championship contention. Possibly come in, not to spoil who I might be having a playoff pick or contender, but a couple of those programs you can see. And hey, is there going to be a conference? The SEC going to get 2 in again? Is the Big Ten going to get 2 in again? So a lot of uncertainties, man. And this is the last year of the 4-team playoff format, man, and the last season for the SEC that we've known for the past decade or so, with A&M and Missouri now in, until college football is just turning upside down on its head starting next year. Kind of an interesting season to close this era, and I'm ready to see a Georgia football three-peat, man. Feeling good about it. Excited to break it all down, what could happen outside of Athens, too, all throughout these next few months of college football. Best time of the year. We're on it. We finally made it, man.
Yes, sir.
Finally made it.
It is that time. It's that time to let the big dog eat.
Sir. Time to let the big dog eat.
Let's do it.
Eat, baby.
Let's
Man,
do
I love
it.
it.
Less than 3 weeks till kickoff. We're going to be in Sanford Stadium before you know it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, man.
Now, let's over the past weekend, we did lose a DGD, a guy by the name of Wilson Norman, a friend of ours, and someone who spent a lot of time traveling and watching the Dawgs. He was a great friend, great dad to his kids, and he suddenly passed away this past Saturday, and just heartbreaking. And we want to, here on Row 60, we want to pray for that family and his friends and all that were affected. So
absolutely, Clark, man. Wilson Norman is the man's name. He was a part of our tailgate crowd, went on many road trips with the same group that we've gone to games with. And shoot, we've been attending Georgia, Florida together for over 20 years. He is a very close friend of Alan Burton, who is a big mentor to me and you, not only in the Georgia fandom, but in being a godly man, a good father, good husband, and all that as well. And I think he roomed with Alan at Georgia, and they were very, very tight. So we were introduced to Wilson by Alan. So when I think of Wilson, I think of tailgates, Georgia, Florida, because that's when we would get to see Wilson, or these road trips to Knoxville to Tennessee. Man, he was a DGD. He was at both the national championship games that we just played, and got to experience it with his son, man, Walt, who was 15 years old. And one memory I have of Wilson, man, was he sat with me and my mom in 2007, Nick Saban's first SEC game in Tuscaloosa, as his first year in Alabama, that he was the head coach there. And Wilson sat with us. Of course, that was the one and done, Matt Stafford to Mikey Henderson coming back in overtime, winning that game. And just celebrating with Wilson, man. I was, about 14 at the time. Yeah. So that's a special memory. And, of course, all the celebrations that we've had, smoking victory cigars in Jacksonville with him, man. He was a DGD and a great guy from when we were around him, and definitely part of our family, and it hurts, man. And that's just one thing I want to say is just, that's why we do this podcast, Clark, is because we enjoy Georgia football so much. And we enjoy Georgia football, I think, to the level we do is because of the people we get to enjoy it with and the memories we get to make, man. And I encourage everybody, obviously, if you're listening to this, Georgia football is your thing too, but to find your thing, man, and your friends and family that you get to experience with it, that joy of whatever it may be, even though it's a materialistic thing, it's something that the good Lord, I feel like, puts on earth for you to enjoy, and you glorify Him through it by the fellowship and the time and the joy you spend with your family, friends, and loved ones. So I ask everybody just to your loved ones, hug them, tell them you love them. And don't take a day for granted, man.
Right.
Be thankful for every day we get to spend on this earth, and just go through it with a just a positive attitude, man. And just know that every day could be your last, but there's something better than what we have on this earth. I'm gonna say that.
That's very true.
There is, Clark, and we feel the same way, and we're open about it on this podcast, man. So anybody that you know that you're not talking with right now or whatnot, tell them you love them, man. Resolve any future issues, because when death hits you, especially unexpectedly, you get life in perspective,
right.
And it puts it in a different perspective. And that's all I want to say, man. It's just enjoy every single day. That's why we like to get on here as an escape from reality, and really just to be able to bring a passion that we love. But hey, tell everybody you love them, your family, friends, and loved ones, and enjoy every single day with them. And don't look back wishing that you did not take a day to enjoy what you love doing and the people you love.
Well, I tell you, Wilson's going to have a great seat in heaven for this three-peat.
That's right.
His son, Walt, I know he listens to us, and shout out to him. We are praying for you, buddy, and your family and all your friends. Walt. I know this is a tough moment, but God will help you through this. So.
Great man.
Great
DGD,
man indeed.
DGD, just good people.
Absolutely. Well, let's shout out some patrons, Adam. We had several people across the country.
Oh, yeah.
Join Patreon this past week, and we want to shout them out. We got old Dylan Deese from Leesburg, Georgia, down south, right?
Okay,
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Leesburg, Georgia.
I think
Southwest
he may be,
Georgia.
Yeah, I think he may be kind of a new listener.
Lee County. Yeah, that's right. Good deal.
Jim Sexton from Georgia. We got Nikki Snow from Florida.
Nice.
Alec Ville, I taught him. He's right here in Franklin County.
Awesome, man. Yeah. Good deal.
Good DGD. Rush
DGD.
Baker Caldwell. He's my cousin from South Carolina.
Yes.
We've run into
DGD.
him.
Oh, yes. I love old Rush Baker. That's good stuff.
Dylan Smith, great friend of mine growing up. We went to the Boise State game in 2011.
Awesome.
Endured a lot of bad losses, but anyway.
Awesome.
Dylan Smith, thank you, man. Logan Waldrop.
Yes. Logan, I work with Logan, good friend of mine, man. Good DGD.
Yeah.
A good DGD. Like I say, he's called some guys to look out for. Brock Bowers being one a couple seasons ago, and then Lad McConkey. So, good insight by him.
He knows his stuff.
Yes.
Yep. And then last but certainly not least, Logan's uncle.
Yes, correct.
Jim Wilcox.
Yes, from Florida, man.
Oh, yeah.
A dog down there in Gator Country,
That's
man.
right.
So we love Jim. Of course, the first season of Row 60 won our ticket giveaway, and we've had a bond and connection with him ever since.
Absolutely.
Coming on 2 years.
Hey, Jim, if you're listening to this, we've got to go to the Cafe Silo.
Yes, the Cafe Silo. The
Silo Cafe.
That's
not
exactly
the Cafe
right.
Silo. Wait, is it Cafe Silo?
It's Silo Cafe.
That's
Silo
it.
Cafe.
Anyway, we got to go again.
That's right.
But once again, thank you so much, all of you, for joining. You're helping us to create a community of fellow dogs all across the country.
Yep.
If you're not on Patreon yet and want to unlock exclusive Row 60 content, just visit patreon.com/Row60, or you can download the Patreon app and search Row 60. It's only $5 a month.
Yes.
And every single penny helps us travel to more SEC games, road games, and produce more Georgia football content for our listeners. So
that's right.
Go sign up if you haven't already. We greatly appreciate everybody's support. All right.
That's right.
Moving on, college football predictions, Adam. And this is where we're going to kind of inch into this episode. This is going to be, once again, a big episode here.
This is so much fun, man, because everybody believes.
Right.
Everybody's undefeated.
Yeah.
There's a 0 on the right side of everybody's column, win-loss column right now, Clark. And everybody's believing. Everybody across the nation is getting on internet boards, getting, talking with one another, building themselves up that they're thinking this year.
Yeah.
And really, their team doesn't have any shot. But, they're building it up. They're building it up thinking that way. So I'm excited. I'm excited about it. God, I love this.
Well, I'm going to share a couple of predictions I have just for the season, for once again, this is college football, not necessarily Georgia football related.
Right.
Big picture stuff here. I want you to give me some too, if you have any.
yeah.
All right. I'm going to say this. I think the Big Ten East is going to be the best, or it's going to be the most fun to watch this entire year. And you could potentially see a three-way tie between Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan. I don't think that's too far-fetched.
No.
I think all three of those teams are kind of at the same level right now. Do you agree?
Yeah, Clark, I agree, man. I mean, a lot's going to dictate. Obviously, we know Ohio State has 2 great receivers, the best receiver in college football coming back, and Marvin Harrison Jr., but another stud right there on the other side of them. So who's going to be their quarterback, though? Can they have a guy that's going to step up and be able to take control of that offense? You know, I don't think it'll be another C.J. Stroud, but somebody who is a talented guy who can win some games up there, and I think they will. Michigan, a lot of veteran guys, offensive line, J.J. McCarthy, and the running backs coming back, man. They're really up and high thinking, hey, this is the year we finally win a playoff game. We've won the Big Ten, got over the Ohio State monkey. Let's go beat Georgia. Let's go to the national championship. Let's do it now. So, you know, that's kind of what their mindset is right now. And Harbaugh is not suspended 4 games anymore. I don't know what happened there. Yep, I saw that the other day. So I don't know what they finagled, what kind of tomfoolery was going on with that deal, but they got something worked out where he is going to be on the sidelines. Then Penn State, man, you know, a new quarterback that they're high on up there. I forgot his name, but I know they're kind of high on him, and Manny Diaz, second year with the defense up there, and yeah, I think they got high hopes too. So I agree with you, Clark. It very easily can play out that way. Yeah. And hey, and of course, the winner usually wins the Big Ten, who will have a playoff spot. Easily. Right. So last year we had 2 from that division in the playoffs. So could we see it again this year? I don't know. Very well could.
Yeah, I was listening to Josh Pate. Speaking of 2 teams from the same conference getting in to the playoff, I was listening to Josh Pate last night actually, and he was saying something. I think this is right. Out of the last 9 years, there have been 5 times where 2 teams from the same conference have gotten in to the playoff. So you very well could see 2 Big Ten teams. You could see 2 SEC teams. Adam, you may, this is going to be a little bit of a stretch. You may see 2 Pac-12 teams get in. I don't know.
Really? You think, Clark?
I mean, a lot would have to go wrong for a lot of different teams for that to happen. But
hey, you never know, man. You never know. You never know. So, yeah, I think what's so exciting this year, Clark, is there is so many people that you could see. There's not just like 4 teams up that you know is going to do it. Like, obviously, it could be this, but the past few years just felt like it's been Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, and then that 4th spot, Georgia or LSU, Oklahoma. You know, that's how it's felt the past handful of years. I'm talking about during the middle of our run and before, I guess from about 2017 on. That's kind of how it's felt, right? That everybody thinks it's going to be from those 5 or 6 teams. Yeah. But now, Clark, you got Georgia. And you think, yeah, Alabama's still there, Ohio State, Clemson, yeah, you know, they're losing its luster and its shine, which I love. Yeah, love. Let me reiterate that. Love that Clemson's losing its glisten. That bright orange is turning a little stale, Clark. Yep. And I love that. Because I hate Clemson. But anyway,
me too.
So you're kind of getting all these teams from different conferences. Florida State, another team people are talking about. And then like, hey, you made a good point about what's happening in the West Coast, Clark. You got Dan Lannon and his Oregon Ducks, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, and Caleb DeBoer and his Washington Huskies, man. And then, of course, Lincoln Riley, Caleb Williams, reigning Heisman Trophy winner in USC. A lot of good ball. I think the Pac-12 is very strong at the very top, the 3 or 4 teams, and then it just falls off the mountain.
Ooh, Adam, I don't know, though. Hold up. There's one team you left off that Pac-12 list, and this is another
Utah
prediction.
Utes?
No, not Utah. Not Oregon, not Utah, not USC, not any one of those teams you just mentioned. Not Washington. Oregon State.
Really?
Adam, I've done some research on the Beavers.
On the Beavers with Jonathan Lewis?
Yes, their schedule is fairly easy, okay? Yeah. They get Utah at home. They don't play USC. They obviously get DJ
Uyunglele.
Thank you.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's good.
And they had the best defense in the Pac-12 last year. Not saying a whole lot.
Right.
But Adam, I'm telling you.
They beat the Ducks, too.
They could potentially be in the Pac-12 championship. I'm not saying they're going to make it to the playoff. They could somehow.
Yeah, I don't know, Clark. They could. I think they lost a lot of defensive production last year. I think that it's going to be hard to replicate that defensive production that we saw in Coral Vallis, Oregon last year. Yeah. But I don't know. That's good. I like that. I like it. I don't know. The Beavers, man. I'm for it.
Okay, thank you.
I'm for it.
All right, I needed somebody to back me up.
Hey, I love it,
Somebody's probably out there thinking,
that's just bold takes. Right. Hey, give me the Oregon State Beavers. Georgia, Oregon State National Championship. Heard it here first.
Okay. Yeah. Three-peat indeed, if that's the case. All right, and then my last, I don't know if this is really even a bold prediction, but I'm just going to say it's a prediction. Colorado, all right? Okay. A lot of hype there. It is insane the amount of hype they're getting. Right. And I understand prime time, Dion out there, he's doing his thing. He I mean, just the turnover, the transfer portal. It has been a wacky kind of off season for Colorado. I don't think they're going to win a game in September. Really? I think they are going to start the season 0-5.
0-5.
0-5. Let me read you their schedule.
I was about to say, give me the 5.
All right, they play at TCU.
Okay.
Versus Nebraska, that might be a potential win.
Ooh,
that's at home.
Old Big 12 rivalry game.
Right.
That was a heck of a. That was a slugfest in the 90s.
Yeah.
Man.
Do you remember? Have you ever seen video footage of Nebraska going into Colorado and taking over their stadium? I don't remember what year it is.
Yeah,
but
it was in the 90s. Oh yeah, man.
They play Nebraska at home. They play Colorado State at home. Could be a win. I don't know. I mean, it might get close. At Oregon and versus USC.
Ooh.
So if they don't win either the Nebraska or Colorado State game, they're going 0-5.
They could win Colorado State. Where is Colorado State?
It's at home.
Okay, so it is in Boulder.
Yep.
They could. I don't think that's too far of a stretch, Clark. I mean, I don't really know about Colorado State. I don't think they've been very good the past few years at all. But Colorado hadn't either. So I don't know. That's going to be a pillow fight. That's going to be a pillow fight there.
Yes.
So,
oh, man.
I don't know, man. I don't know what happened in Fort Collins last year, but yeah, Colorado State, that's a pillow fight. That's a pillow fight. So we'll see. Yeah. I don't think if they don't win that game right there, then 0-5 definitely on the table. I can see it. You see what Matt Rule does in Nebraska, I think they'll win it. I think they'll win it.
Matt Rule's a good coach. Listen, I'm not buying into the primetime hype. I'm not. Okay.
No.
What he did at Jackson State, wherever he was at, was impressive because he got D1 athletes to come play at an FCS school, and he bullied teams around. Yeah. The question is, what's going to happen when he gets beat by 45 against USC?
Yeah.
What's it going to be?
I'm ready to see what the culture of the team's going to be. Right. Well, what's the culture going to be in that locker room in Boulder, Clark, when they start off 0-6?
Yeah.
And there's cameras everywhere around, trying to document this whole deal, man. And then you start hearing some buzz, some outside noise. What's going to happen then? I don't know.
I think it's almost a lose-lose situation because let's say primetime, why do I keep calling primetime? Let's say Deion goes.
Put some respect on the man's name. Yeah. Coach Prime.
Let's say he wins 10 games.
Okay.
He could use that and catapult into another job, a bigger D1 job. You know what I mean? Or he could go the complete opposite and get fired in a year or two.
Just hang it up. Just be done with it. The experiment's over. I don't know. It's very intriguing. It's one of the most intriguing storylines of college football, because I see it going one of two ways. I don't think there's no medium.
Right.
I think it's either that he actually is going to get the talent in there, has a good staff underneath him, make some noise at Colorado. I'm not saying go to the playoff or anything, but drastically improve the Colorado program over the next couple of years until he goes elsewhere, or it's just going to be a circus.
Yeah. It's already a circus.
Oh, it's already, exactly. But it's going to be one of two things, man. No in between. In between. It's going to be one of the two things. And I cannot wait to get my bucket of popcorn and watch it.
Yep. Sit back and relax.
East Coast. Yes. Yeah. That's going to be some good prime Pac-12. And this is another thing, Clark, that we need to address.
Sure. Go ahead.
I want everybody to really just sit back and think and plan your late fall Saturday nights, because this is going to be, Clark, the last year that we get good quality Pac-12 after dark.
It's going to be last year we get – when do they all go to the Big Ten?
I know USC and UCLA are going next year. I don't know if Oregon and Washington are waiting. I think they're waiting for 25. I think. Okay. I think now. I could be wrong on that. Could be wrong, but the Pac is, slowly bleeding out and just not good for that conference, man. I think the prime of college football, as far as conference wise and power, was in the mid 90s, even though that was not late mid 90s to 04 when Virginia Tech, Miami went to the ACC, man, and because back then, man, you had, even though Georgia football was not good, and of course we love it now because Georgia football is the top dog. But if you talk about the health of the overall sport for each region of the country, man, you had a true Pac-10. Yeah. True Pac-10. All right? Right. With USC, UCLA, and the likes. Oregon, with Joe Harrington slinging the football around. Then you had, Clark, the Big 12 of Nebraska, Colorado, Texas, Oklahoma, Bill Snyder's Kansas State, man, the traditional Midwest Big 12. Mm-hmm. And then you had the Big 10, which is, obviously Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, all those guys. So, and then you had the Big East, Clark, with Frank Beamer's Virginia Tech and Miami. And it was, and then the SEC, of course, before Missouri and Texas A&M. Yeah. So, I think overall, as you think just everything around the country, regional, it was in a good spot then. And now what's happening, the almighty dollar, man, is an evil thing.
It is.
It's an evil thing. It gets the best of many men and women. And I think that's what we're seeing with college football now. But, hey, as long as Georgia keeps winning national championships, this is what I told somebody else the other day. What do you think about the health of the sport? What do you think about the health of the sport, where it's going? I said, man, as long as Georgia football keeps winning national championships, I don't give a dang what they do.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't give a dang what they do.
And here's the thing. No matter how they restructure this, Saturdays are always going to be the same. That's kind of the thing. It's like that's in the words of Josh Pate, that's your fixed asset. That's not going to change, right?
Ooh,
that is that's not mine.
That's clever.
I wish I came up with that, but it makes sense, right? I mean,
he's a wise man.
He is. If you don't know who we're talking about, Josh Pate, the Late Kick podcast, go listen to him. Great college football talk.
He's probably the best big dog college football.
100%.
Like, 100%. Famous college football person out there, I would think.
You know. And then us.
And then us after that. You know, the tier underneath.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know.
1A, 1B, essentially.
Right. That's right.
Oh, man. Adam, any more bold predictions you have? Anything just absolutely bizarre you want to say to the people about this season specifically?
Man.
Are you going to hold it? You want to let it marinate?
No, I'll go out of the SEC. I'll go out of the SEC, man. I think Oklahoma's going to have another poor year. Even though they have a good a favorable schedule for them, I don't think they're going to make much noise. I think Texas actually wins the Big 12 this year for the first time in years, since 2009 or something.
Yeah.
Crazy. So,
wow.
I don't know, man. That's kind of, I know that's not a bold prediction, but you know, it's just, I'll get to that. Let me get to that.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, before we talk about Oklahoma and everybody else, let's talk about the Dogs.
Talk about the Dogs.
The regular season.
Matter.
Yes, exactly. Good bark, Adam.
Let's go.
Adam has one of the most.
Getting in.
You have just a great bark.
We need to teach a class on how to get your it's all about
your diaphragm.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of get your good body
posture.
Right. Yes, exactly right. When you can elevate up and kind of get the wind to go through your, would it be your trachea?
Trachea,
your trachea up there, and be able to have a nice reservoir of it to be able to get through a couple barks.
So,
exactly right.
We are going to teach a class on how to properly bark. Oh my gosh. All right, regular season. Let's just kick this thing off literally on September 2nd.
Let's go.
Versus the UT Martin Skyhawks. This game is slated for 6:00 p.m.
Let's freaking roll, Clark.
Let's let it rip, baby.
Let it rip with the Skyhawks.
Yeah.
Man. Give it to me.
Huge opening season game. Hey, you're going to have to pay up to watch this game. This is our one SEC Network plus ESPN plus kind of game.
Just a money freaking grab.
Yeah.
I hate it. Just again, Clark. Again, just picking on the common man, man, the working man.
That's right.
So hey, you know we don't get enough of your money. Right. Sarcasm font. Let's freaking make you pay. Put one game behind a paywall. That's bullcrap, Clark. That is ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous. Hey, you get enough money, so hey, let's just go ahead and put it one behind a paywall.
That's why we do not like ESPN.
That's exactly right. God.
Anyway, yeah. So just don't let this sneak up on you. You're going to have to find a friend or a tailgate, or you may yourself have to subscribe.
If you can't go and you don't want to subscribe and do that, I understand that. Do the classic listen to the radio.
Yeah.
Just listen to Scott and Eric bring it, especially, you know, most people be on the Dove field anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Getting the radio going, maybe. Well, 6:00, yeah, we'll be. So I don't know, man. That's crazy. I hate that it's opening day too. But hey, that's at least you're getting out of the way.
Exactly.
Skyhawks of University of Tennessee, Martin.
You mentioned this, I think, a couple episodes ago. We haven't opened up in Sanford Stadium since 2018.
Wow, yeah. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
It'll be fun to do that. And then UT Martin, obviously, is an FCS opponent. This will be an absolute beatdown, no doubt about it. If you don't want to pay ESPN, don't want to give them any more of your money,
this is a good
come to the game.
Family game.
Yes,
a family game. As any new listeners, we will put up a definition of what the proper description of family game is.
Right.
But those who have been with us the past 2 seasons knows what a family game is. This is it, Clark. And this is a rare good September family game in the sense of it being late night family game. Usually your family game is going to be at high noon when it's a little bit hot, and you got to worry about keeping children hydrated and grandma and everybody else who's going to come hydrated, man. You got to go hit those refillable water sections over there, those stations they got right there, like all the time, just constantly, because you got to stay hydrated, man, because it's going to be hot. People are going to be dropping like fries, man. And so, you might not be able to take some of the family to the game because of heat exhaustion. Right. I mean, that's the real thing. Yeah. So, but this is at 6 o'clock, Clark. Opening day, family game, 6 o'clock. Take advantage of it.
Oh, yeah.
Take grandma, grandpa, children, everybody, aunts, uncles, brothers, load them up, go to Athens, man. Go get some chicken, tailgate a little bit, and enjoy watching the defending 2-time national champions open up the season for possibly the most talented football team ever on the field first.
I love it, Adam. Hey, and if you're going to be there, come visit us. Section 108, row 60. We'd love to see you.
Love that, man.
Well,
but go ahead.
Are you worried about this game, Adam?
I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried. I'm worried about injuries. I hope number 19 does not play a lot. It's going to be interesting to see what the running back situation is then. How much is Branson Robinson going to play? Is he going to play any? Of course, Kendall Milton, his situation, man. Is it going to be the Juwan Edwards show, And we'll have to see, man. I think what we're going to be looking at, Clark, and I know you can't against UT Martin, Ball State, and the likes, and most of the September schedule until you get to October and SEC play. Be a real judge of it. But the only thing that stands in Georgia's way, Clark, to being 3-time national champions back to back to back, is let's see what the defensive line is going to do in quarterback play. Those are the two biggest things to me. I really do not think – I think it's defensive line play, getting a pass rush, and then be able to stay where they've been the past couple years and not being able to let anybody run the football on them. And if they're that and you get good quarterback play, doesn't have to be Stetson Bennett.
Right.
But good quarterback play, good production, man, out of who we assume, what we talked about last episode, Carson Beck, then let's go.
Yep.
Book the flights to Houston. It's on. Let's roll. So, what I'm saying is this is going to be a good game. Obviously, you can't put this on the measuring stick against a team like UT Martin. You're not going to just say, oh, my God, we're going to just absolutely run the gauntlet once we just destroy UT Martin.
Right.
But it's going to be fun to kind of watch, to see what we got, see the younger guys, the depth and everything. But I can tell you this team's absolutely loaded. It's absolutely loaded, Clark.
UT Martin is
No,
loaded?
I
just kidding.
They might be in their world. I don't know.
Maybe so.
I don't know. I hope they are. Great name, great mascot logo too, Clark.
I think they used to actually be the UT Martin Volunteer or Vols or something.
Really?
They were like essentially the JV team of Tennessee way back in the day, I think.
Okay.
As the story goes. So anyway.
Yeah, but no, it's going to be, hopefully no injuries. Fun day getting back in the swing at Sanford Stadium. Let's go.
1-0. 1-0. We're both in agreement.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's safe to say.
Yeah. I hope so. Good Lord, I hope so. All right, September 9th versus Ball State back at Sanford Stadium next week, 12 o'clock p.m., SEC Network. This game takes the spot of the Oklahoma game. We're supposed to go to Norman, Oklahoma. That would have been a great trip.
Makes me sick to think
me
about
too.
it, man.
But, hey, another home game. Ball State is a MAC team. And, hey, the last time a MAC team came into Sanford Stadium, it got a little close, Adam.
It did, Clark. It did, yeah. I mean, it was definitely not an enjoyable time.
No.
Without a doubt, just last year with Kent State. But, this game's going to be high noon. It's going to be hot. It's just going to be, the bank sign's probably going to be reading over 100 in downtown Athens. I mean, that's probably what it's going to be. It's going to be hot. It's going to be muggy. It's going to be humid. You're going to really want to have to be there to be at this game.
Yeah.
A lot of people will brush this one off, say, oh, it's just Ball State. I don't want to see them. I'm going to go do what else. I'm going to stay in the air conditioning. No. This is a family game. Again, but again, you got that heat. So you're going to see people at this game who really want it, who really love it, who really want it.
They're going to have floppy hats.
They're going to be, yes, you dang right. They're going to have, you're going to have your cool towel that you can wet soak going down, and you're going to have to put on that copper tone SPF 100 like myself. And,
the frog tog. And
dang right. So, you're going to have to want to be there to watch Georgia and Ball State at high noon.
It's going to be a great game.
Oh, it's going to be a blast, man. And the MAC Clark has not produced a good product of football in a while. Back in the day, you remember, like, Northern Illinois would make BCS bowls and
that
stuff.
Is true.
Western Michigan made some runs with P.J. Fleck. The MAC and Matt Campbell would lead. The MAC's just, I think it's being overtook. You think about the Sun Belt.
Oh, yeah,
the Fun Belt.
Actually.
The Fun Belt. If you look at it, this is a question for the audience, man. Who provides a better quality product of football. The Mid-American Conference or the Sun Belt Conference. The Fun Belt, and then you got a fun name, the Fun Belt.
Yeah. What?
I mean, what do you think about the MAC's product of football here lately, Clark? Have you been keeping up with the MAC?
It hasn't been
on Tuesdays
exceptional.
and Wednesdays? And I just think, it hadn't been just...
It's been pretty subpar.
I agree. I agree. They're not coming up and really, Kent State gave Georgia a little bit of a game there, but they're not coming up and popping anybody in the Power Five like you used to see MAC teams do, the directional schools do, man.
Right.
I love the MAC. I love the Eastern, Westerns, and, the Michigans and Ball States and Bowling Greens. Hey, could you name every team in the MAC?
I can't. Can you? I feel like you probably could.
I don't know. Let's try it.
Oh, God.
Just real quick. I'm sorry, we're off the rails.
All right.
I don't know, though. I don't know. Western Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Central Michigan,
Ball
State, Toledo, Bowling Green,
Kent State,
Miami of Ohio, Kent State, Ohio. Mm-hmm. Ohio.
The Wildcats.
All right. Northern Illinois.
Yep.
I think that's the only team in Illinois that's on there. Who else would there be?
Indiana State?
No, Indiana State is not a part of the MAC. The Sycamores aren't. I'm trying to think. I don't think I began anymore. We're definitely missing somebody. We're missing somebody. We did say Eastern Michigan. I don't.
You got the Chippewas.
Yeah, Central Michigan. God, look up the MAC teams. See who we missed. Who we missed because I'm sorry. But hey, we're getting close to football. We're just conversating. People enjoy this.
I guess.
Ball State.
And Buffalo. And Akron.
And Akron. The Zips. God, how did we do that?
Wait,
we missed Ball State, who Georgia's playing, who recovered. No, we said Toledo, didn't we? I had to say the Rock.
Okay, here we go. Here's the actual list of MAC teams. Akron, Bowling Green.
Yep.
Buffalo, Kent State, Miami University, Ohio. Ohio University.
The Bobcats.
Ball State University, Central Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Northern Illinois, Toledo, and Western Michigan. There's your MAC.
Our good friend Jim McElwain's at Central Michigan.
Is he really?
Yeah, but that's it, man. The directional schools up there in like 3 states make up the whole conference.
Oh, man.
Anywho, I'm sorry that we had to go off. I hope people enjoyed our coverage of the MAC right there. And
my gosh.
There we go. We
need a separate podcast.
So MAC football.
Maction.
Maction.
Yeah.
Covered what happened in the MAC this week.
All right. So I think we're both in agreement. 2-0 up to this point.
Gonna beat the MAC. Yep. All right.
And this kind of concludes, I would say, our cupcake games. Okay. I think the schedule.
We got one more.
There's one more, I guess you could. Well, several more, honestly.
Several more.
If you're the University of Georgia, there's a lot of cupcakes on this schedule.
You're right.
And hey, hold up. We haven't talked about this yet.
What?
You know what? There's a lot of people out there, especially fans of opposing teams, who want to poop on Georgia's schedule. Georgia can't do anything about it.
Nah, Georgia can't do anything about it. It's like they canceled the game going to Norman.
Right. No. And I used to poop on Clemson for having a terrible schedule, and they're not playing anybody.
Yeah.
But in Clemson's defense, it's not their fault that everybody else in the ACC is horrible.
Horrible.
So
horrible.
And it's funny, the most ironic thing, the people who are talking the most about Georgia schedules are fans of Auburn, Tennessee, Tech, even some Clemson fans.
Yeah.
All that to say,
just jealous, man.
They're not to our level right now.
That's right, they're not, because we'll beat them by 3 touchdowns.
Exactly. So they are the cupcakes.
Exactly.
Man.
Auburn's ramping back up. I mean, I've always hated Auburn, but, the prime Auburn hatred was the Scam Newton, Nick Fairley, 2010, 11 years. But I feel like with Brother Hugh Freeze, they're going to get back up and get theirs. They're going to get theirs. We're going to go to Opelika and give them what's coming. I'm getting a little too
let's save it. All right. September 16th, the next week, we were playing South Carolina at home, 3:30 CBS.
All right, this is officially the last year, Clark, of SEC on CBS with Gary. Clark, I think last year we went through the season thinking last year,
right?
But hey,
actually it's this year.
We were just getting primed up for it. Just letting everybody just have a great surprise. They're going to get Gary Danielson one more year.
Oh gosh,
and we get to go bing, one more season. One more season. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. So South Carolina. What you think, Clark?
SEC opener. Here's the question, Adam. This might be kind of an interesting game.
Yeah.
I know there are a lot of Georgia fans out there that are kind of concerned about this, and I think they saw South Carolina the second half of the season last year, and they were shaking in their boots, which is bizarre to me because I don't think a lot of people remember the first half of the season that South Carolina played last year. It was not very good at all. They do have a new offense coordinator who came from Arkansas.
Old Dowell.
Dowell, yeah.
Old Dowell. Terrible NFL offense coordinator, Clark. Was a tight end guy. I mean, horrendous. Like one of the worst NFL offense coordinators of the century.
Wow. Okay. I did not know that, but
that's what I think. I said century. I just threw that in there.
Okay.
But pitiful production.
I see. But they do return some key pieces. The Gamecocks, obviously, Spencer Rattler is going to be, I think,
he's got to be 30 by now.
Yeah, he's got to be 30. He's an old head.
Yeah, I mean, he'd have to improve.
And then
it's like his 7th year in college football.
They've got a stud receiver, Juice Wells. He's
a real deal. We'll give that to him. We'll give that to him. It's decent. But they've had stud receivers many a times, and it does not make a difference.
That's a good point. They do need a running back pretty badly. That's the word. That's what I've researched.
Yeah. Oh, Marshawn transferred to the West Coast.
He did. He sure did. Marshawn Lloyd transferred to USC.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Who was their leading rusher. So they're in need of a running back.
Yeah.
But I tell you, Adam, I don't know why people are very concerned about this game.
I don't, man.
Georgia's going to beat the brakes off.
I agree. A lot of transfer talent left Columbia. Jaheim Bell, tight end, went to Florida State. A lot of guys left. Shane Beamer and this, I think your attitude goes from your head coach down. I think Shane Beamer's going to be way too overhyped about this matchup coming in, Clark, and about trying a little too like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And trying a little bit too hard, forcing a little. So I think in return you're going to see Spencer Rattler very careless with the football, trying to make stuff happen, big play, especially when stuff isn't working out. Kind of like what we saw in Columbia last year, man. And throw some picks. I guarantee you right now, Clark. South Carolina will try either a fake punt, a fake field goal, an onside kick, or all the above.
All the above. I'll go with all of the above.
All the above. I guarantee they're going to throw out in week 3 all the gimmicks and everything that they can. Wide receiver reverses, man, everything, because they know from just lining up man on man in the trenches, they're not going to be able to beat this football team, especially in Athens. I think it's going to be another big win over Shane Beamer and the South Carolina Gamecocks to get the first SEC win of the season and the first SEC game of the season. And here we go. Let's crank it up. Getting late September, Clark. Maybe by this time, too, this next week, we're going to get a little bit of a cool snap coming in.
Yes.
Man. You know, you just get a little bit of a blustery afternoon. You know, it's still going to be hot. It's going to be one of them deals where you're probably going to be having some sleeves on in the morning, but then it's going to be about 86 degrees in the afternoon, you know. But maybe you're going to start feeling a little hint of fall coming in now, and you're really ramping it up, getting October, the best month of the year.
Yep. So 3-0 up to this point, and as Adam just alluded to, the next week, September 23rd, another home game, the 4th straight against the UAB Blazers.
Man. Love that. Love being in Sanford for 4 straight weeks.
Me too.
I'm going to have some heck of some concession stand reviews coming those 4 weeks, man.
They're going to have to be consistent.
We're going to go around the menu.
Oh,
mark my word right now. We're going to go around the menu in Sanford Stadium concessions, you know. And we're going to give some good reports. Heck, we might be reviewing something else, too. You might have another segment of a review that we add to our traditional shows.
The restrooms?
Which are going to be going to be starting. We'll see. So, anywho, I'm excited about that. Getting some good stadium popcorn, man. Good. I don't know, Clark, let me ask you this. Is there a big game Dippin' Dot game on this schedule, the first 4? Is South Carolina a big game Dippin' Dot game?
I think it is. Yeah.
You think it is?
Yeah, it's the opener.
Are we being a little bit too loose with big game Dippin' Dots?
We may be, Adam.
Not lowering our standard a little bit?
Yeah.
I think it's a frozen lemonade game.
Ooh, okay, that's fair.
All right, this is it.
Okay.
Dippin' Dots are saved for like monstrous games.
Right.
And
such as the Peach Bowl last year.
The Peach Bowl last year, national championship, Tennessee regular season, any like big rival like Florida. But then your tier 2 games like that are your frozen lemonade games.
And every game is a hot dog game.
That's
right?
Exactly right. That's exactly right.
Man.
That's exactly right. So
the Blazers come into town. New head coach Trent Dilfer played in the NFL as a quarterback. You got something to say about Trent Dilfer?
I mean, he's a good football mind. You know, did some Elite 11 camps. Probably the least talented quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl, is what I hear. You know, because they played like the NFL equivalent of the 2021 Georgia Bulldog defense was that 2000 Baltimore Ravens defense. So, anywho, I don't know, but not to disregard that. I mean, I know there's no ill will towards Trent. I just don't think it's going to work out with him down there in UAB. But hey, I don't know. Whatever.
We'll see.
Whatever.
UAB is in the American Conference.
Yeah, just went to it went from old CUSA, right?
Yeah.
The Conference USA to the American Conference to fill the void.
That makes more sense. Sorry. I thought CUSA was the CUSA. I thought that was Central USA.
And it might be. I don't know. or Conference USA?
I don't know.
I think it's Conference USA.
We have
Conference
so many.
USA. And did it die? Or is it still going? Did they bring
It
teams
is
back
Conference USA.
Conference USA, yeah.
I guess they're still trucking.
It's Conference USA. They might be.
I have no
CUSA.
idea.
CUSA. That's another low-tier conference right there. I mean, we need to dive into which, like, the Fun Belt, the Sun Belt, of course.
The Group of Five?
Or the MAC, or, the Group of Five. What's your best ones, man? But anywho, UAB is not going to be a game, Clark. Great that their football program is still going.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, golly, back in 2015.
Right.
They had a shaky situation. So, I mean, God bless them down in Birmingham for having that going for them. But it's not going to be good when they come to Athens, man.
No.
Another win, cap off the month of September. Well, nope, not cap off the month of September yet. There seems like an unusual amount of
Football.
Saturday in September
I think it's
this year,
is it
right?
5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5.
All right, yeah.
Wow.
All right, give it to us.
Next week, so we're both in agreement. We are 4-0 on the season.
Absolutely.
So,
If we're not 4-0 on the season,
something's wrong.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
We're going to have a conniption.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We may quit the podcast.
No.
No, I'm kidding. All right, September 30th, first road game of the season at Auburn.
In Opelika, Alabama.
Yep. At Auburn, to be determined. Probably might get a 3:30.
I think it will. I don't know what other games are that week. What other games are that week? I don't know. I don't know, but I hope it is a 3:30 CBS game, Clark. I don't know. What you think? What you think?
Auburn is just going to have a really weird year under Brother Hugh.
Reverend.
I got to tell you, Adam, I think this, even before Hugh Freeze arrived on the scene in Auburn, Alabama, I think this is the biggest gap I have ever seen in my entire life between Auburn and Georgia and Alabama.
Yes.
Ever.
Love it.
I think.
Love it.
Right?
Oh, I agree, man. I agree.
I guess you could maybe argue 2012.
In our lifetime.
Right.
In our lifetime.
But, even just this stretch, these past few years have just been awful. Now, they'll win a game that they shouldn't win, and they'll lose plenty that they shouldn't lose. But I tell you, I think this Auburn team may look something like Georgia did in 2016.
Yeah.
Maybe not as productive as Georgia was then, but I don't know. What do you think?
I like that, Clark. I think that's a good analogy, man. Maybe go 8-5. That would honestly be above what their expectation level is. And I expect Hugh Freeze. I'm not going to be unrealistic and think, Auburn's just going to be awful like they were under Brian Harsin, not recruit well. And because we're already seeing Hugh Freeze is recruiting well. Yeah. And now that his shenanigans are legal, they're going to do it. They weren't legal 10 years ago back in the day, but that's the story for a different time. That's
Robert
a story for a
Kimdichie.
different time. That is Larry Matunzel. That's we could go dive deep on that National Signing Day and our feelings then.
What we need? Sorry, there's another sidetrack. You know what we need to do is deep dive into, do some investigative research into these scandals and really.
It should be.
Anyway,
put together a little clip on it. I love it. Okay, but Hugh's gonna make them better. There's no doubt. We're already seeing it on the trail with talent, and I think they'll be better than what people think this year. It'll be interesting to see if they have a quarterback, and a lot will depend on if they could get a quarterback with consistent play. Well, they coach up Robbie Ashford, and he come out good this year, or Peyton Thorne, the Michigan State transfer, come in and win the job. I think that's still up in the air, but I think they'll get somebody that they're not supposed to get.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be like Brian Kelly's first year at LSU, because they're not to the talent that LSU the roster was when Kelly took over and win the West first year. I'm not saying they're going to do that, but I think they'll get somebody that they're not supposed to get, and that might just be those other Tigers I just mentioned.
Yeah, very well could be.
So it won't be Georgia, though. I can tell you that.
No, it won't. Their receiving core, not very good, Adam. But they do have a pretty good stable of running backs from what I've researched. So my thing is, if they come into this Georgia game, one-dimensional, they're going to get the brakes beat off of them. It might be a 20-point victory, similar to what we saw in 2021. But, hey, I'm not, any given Saturday.
That's right.
But I do think Georgia obviously has the much better roster. And
I agree.
Assuming we play our A-, B+ game, we're probably going to win this pretty handedly. So
without a doubt.
Moving on. So up to this point, we're both in agreement 5-0.
Yeah, man, that'll be good. We'll get Auburn this year. I think we'll get them pretty good over there in Opelika. Always enjoyable. Love beating the brakes off of them, especially over there. But yeah, Hugh Freeze, I hate to say it, he'll definitely be a thorn in Kirby and Nick's side going forward. Has been. Yeah. I hate to say it, but not this year though.
Yeah. October 7th versus Kentucky at home back in Sanford Stadium. They didn't live up to last year's hype, the Kentucky Wildcats. Their offense was underwhelming, to say the least. even though you had a Will Levis at quarterback, which probably one of the most overrated quarterbacks, overhyped maybe is the word I'm looking for, I've ever seen in my life. You know, he made some good plays, but I don't know. And just everybody talking about who's going to be a first-round pick last year, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
But this year, they've got a guy in Devin Leary who transferred from NC State at quarterback. They get Liam Cohen back, Adam.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that until last night.
They sure did, man. They got him back. You know, he went, had a very productive year with Kentucky 2 years ago in 21, man. And really was a good fit in Lexington running Mark Stoops' offense, and then went back to the LA Rams to be offensive coordinator. Don't know what happened there, if he just missed a college game or Sean McVay kind of wanted him to go on, but he came back to Lexington, man. So, you know, somebody who hadn't been there in 2 years, so it's crazy how there was just 1 year gap, but somebody who's pretty good quarterback coach, man, knows how to run an offense. Yeah. And I think they'll be pretty good. I don't know, man. Their receiver talent's pretty good. They got Dane Key and, what's the other guy's name?
Well, Wandale Robinson left for the league, right?
Yeah. But there's guys that are equal talent to what Wandale was. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's Dane Key, and there's another one I've forgot. Barry and Brown? No. I don't know. But anyway, Kentucky's actually got some of the best receiving thread on the outside that it's had. I don't know. Program history, maybe.
Wow.
Maybe. Okay. I don't know. And then they got the back from Vanderbilt, who ran all over them last year. What's his name? Ray Davis?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Ray Davis. I could be wrong on that, but the running back from Vanderbilt last year transferred to Kentucky. Then Devin Leary, Clark. Devin Leary, I think, is going to be productive for him, man. Kentucky's going to be good.
Yeah.
Kentucky's going to be good. And they always have respectable defense under Brad White.
Yeah. And it always seems like, at least the past few years, they've kind of fallen off at the end.
Right.
You know?
Right.
They have played really well, you know, through about the middle of October, and then they just kind of taper out. This will be a kind of an interesting game, I think.
Mark Stoops has never beat Georgia. He's been the head coach at Kentucky since 2013 season. Even in all those years where Georgia was down pre-Kirby's second year at Georgia, he's never beat them. Never beat him, Clark. Almost did in 2016, Kirby's first year. Rodrigo had hit one at the end to win.
Oh, my gosh.
On a very cold night in Lexington, Kentucky.
And last year.
Last year it was 16-6. Oh, in the rain and not. No, that's what I'm saying, Clark. Yeah. This game makes me more nervous than a lot of them because Kentucky's physical.
Yeah.
And I've said this on this podcast time and time again. You ask Kirby Smart year in and year out, who's one of the most physical teams that they play year in and year out. He's going to say Mark Stoops, Kentucky. Brad White's defense, man. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see because I'll tell you, Georgia won't cover the spread. They won't beat them by 3 touchdowns. It'll be something like 31-20, 31-17, maybe 2 touchdowns. But, I mean, you think about it. You go back, Clark. You remember up there, you remember last year, 16-6, right?
Yep.
2021, we should have covered the spread, but, you know, they went at the end there and made it like 31-17 or something.
2020 was weird.
Exactly. 2020, we barely got out of there.
Yeah.
Barely got out of there during the COVID year, man. 2019 is they had a wide receiver playing quarterback, and, of course, 2019, Georgia couldn't put any points on the board. So it was in the rain. Do you remember that?
Oh, my
In the rain. And we barely beat
Flush that out of my
Barely
memory.
beat him. Then 2018 was a top 10 matchup in Lexington. And that was pretty good. So, I mean, you know, there's some close games. This one makes me, if there was a game, Clark, that could be interesting the first part of the season. Let's just break it down from game 1-6. That scares me the most is this game. Even at home. I'm
with you. I still, even with that said, I think we beat them by double digits. I'm not talking about we run them out of the stadium.
Yeah, I think so. I think Georgia wins, and they do not cover the spread.
Okay, that's fair.
10 to 14 point win.
I mean, I respect Mark Stoops, and I mean, like you said, they've always had a physical team, despite the roster.
Physical.
And a good defense.
Pop you. They'll pop you. They'll line up with you. Yeah. Hey, they're not scared of the G on the helmet across from them. They're not, man. But hey, there's too many horses in the stable in Athens, more so than in the Kentucky Hills. Maybe.
I like that. Yes.
Give me the Dawgs winning that. Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah, it was. That good for you, man.
Thank you.
I'll go with obviously the Dawgs too. So yeah. All right, 6-0 up to this point. We're feeling pretty good in this part of the season. We're going to go to Vanderbilt October 14th at
big game.
Vandy.
Big game. Big takeover in Vanderbilt.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh, it's going to be so much fun.
Hope their stadium's they have enough seats. Like, have you seen the construction?
They're not done.
What are they doing? What are they doing? It's not February. It's like somebody needs to tell Clark that, hey, man,
Not
Clark.
me. Clark Lee.
Clark Lee. Yeah, exactly. The Vanderbilt head coach. You got a game not in week 1, Clark, but week 0. Week 0.
Against the Timmy Chang fighting Hawaiians.
The Hawaiian
Rainbows.
Rainbow Warriors are coming in to play on national television on August 26th, and your stadium doesn't have an end zone. Somebody tell the man that. Somebody tell Vanderbilt that stop focusing on medicine and academic studies and figure out that they got to play Southeastern Conference football in like 2 weeks. What are they doing?
If you have not seen
What are they doing?
If you haven't seen this, you need to look it up.
It looks like downtown Manhattan with all the cranes in the end zone out there, man. I mean, what are we doing? My question is, why are we expanding? Where's the need to expand?
You can't even fill a fourth of your stadium.
Where's the demand coming from for this expansion?
I think it's the opposing fans.
Oh, the opposing fans. Or are they taking seats out? Add some more to landscaping work. I don't know. Clark's got big ideas and big dreams down in Nashville. That's all I know.
If you don't know what we're talking about, please just go Google search Vanderbilt stadium construction. I mean, they've got a game coming up, folks, and they're not even close to done.
No, it's just
oh my
terrible.
Somebody dropped the ball on that. We may have to just stand, stand in the end zone and watch the game.
Oh, I can't wait. I mean, when we give our week 0 analysis, Clark, leading into the, we'll talk about what the construction looks like there
and how it's going to affect the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Well, anyway, we're going to Vanderbilt.
It can't be worse. One thing though. It can't be worse than the high school stadium that Timmy Chang and the Rainbow Warriors played in last year, though. There had to be like 1,000 people there.
God bless them.
But anywho, all right.
When I'm going to Hawaii in a few weeks, I might stick around for the New Mexico State game.
Oh, you need to.
And watch the UAB game on television.
Okay.
And then literally go to the Hawaii New Mexico State.
All right. Yeah. I'm all for it, Clark. You go.
Oh, man. Anyway, all right. At Vanderbilt, back on track here.
God, we've been off the rails this podcast.
Yes.
But anyway.
I tell you, Adam, this is going to be a good football team.
If
they were playing in the MAC.
If they would win the MAC. We just talked about the quality of football in the MAC. I think that, but in all seriousness, Clark Lee my voice cracked there, getting excited about Clark Lee's Vanderbilt team, man, because he understands the culture. He's played there, man. Yeah. His father's from Nashville. He knows what you got to do at Vanderbilt, man. And last year, seeing him beat Kentucky and get teary-eyed did something to me, man.
And Florida,
exactly. So, I mean, in all seriousness, he has done great there. He is the man forward there. Mm-hmm. They'll get beat 56-0 by Georgia.
Right.
But they'll pop somebody they're not supposed to, hopefully. Yeah. A.J. Swan's a good, respectable quarterback from the state of Georgia. So, hey, I don't know. But, yeah, it's going to be a fun trip. Good time always going up to Nashville, Music City, man. Mm-hmm. Always fun going up there watching a tail whooping in that stadium and, boom, heading into the off week undefeated. Always what we talk about, Clark. Always what we talk about. There's no better feeling than when you hit that late October point when you are undefeated going into Jacksonville, Florida, baby.
It's a nice feeling. Right quick about the Vandy game. Adam, I heard from a certain Row 60 listener who resides in Buffalo, New York, that they may be in attendance.
Ooh.
A very prominent figure in the Row 60 family. No. So we'll see. We'll see.
I like to hear it. I like to hear that. That's good.
But yeah, Georgia by 42 points. It's going to be probably even more, honestly. Yep. I don't know.
It's going to be a bloodbath.
Yep. Agreed. Yep. And like you were talking about, Adam, next week, October 21st, bye week. Get to rest. We got to rest.
We got to rest. Exactly.
I mean, I think there's a lot of focus on the players, resting up and working on those injuries. But it's for us too.
Yeah, exactly right, Clark. That's when you guys sit around all day and drink some cider and have some lozenges, right? To get your throat and your vocal cords.
Some whiskey and honey.
Yeah, whiskey and honey. That's exactly right. Do all the rehabilitation that you need to get amped up going into Jacksonville.
Because this is kind of the tough stretch right here.
Yeah, this is the big one.
After the bye week. This is
where it could get very interesting. Agreed. I think if there is a loss on the schedule, which I personally don't, we're not going to spoil it. It's going to be in this.
Sure. It's going to be in this stretch.
This window.
After the bye week.
Yes, sir.
Right after the bye week, we got October 28th versus Florida in Jacksonville, Florida. 3:30 CBS. That was one of our better bombs.
That was good.
Florida just announced Graham Mertz, their starter at quarterback. In case you missed it, breaking news, folks. Graham Mertz.
Graham Mertz. Does that scare you a little bit, Clark? Get you a little bit nervous?
I'm petrified.
A little bit nervous about old Billy
yeah.
Napier's offense led by Graham Mertz.
He's
wearing number 15. Do you think does that automatically put a cape around you in Gainesville if you're a quarterback and wear number 15?
I reckon.
Do it to Anthony Richardson.
Yeah. Golly. Adam, it's just not a strong roster. You know, it's like these guys came from high schools in the Northwest.
I love it.
And not to poop on the Northwestern high school football players out there. I don't know if we even have any Northwestern football players, but I'm just telling you, this roster is just not good. It's just not. And it shouldn't be that way. I mean, if you're a Florida fan, I'd be furious. But here's the thing about it. It's not entirely Billy Napier's fault. Okay. This is a result of Dan Mullen's lack of recruiting.
Right. So just not thinking it's important. Having the arrogance to think that he could bring whoever in and make them good and beat Georgia. Right. It's stupidity. So Billy's had to deal with that. And Billy Napier's a much more likable guy than Dan Mullen, which I hate because I love my rival coaches to be unlikable.
Right.
Like the Butch Joneses, the Dan Mullins and all that stuff. But anywho, Billy's done a good job getting the recruiting class going, going into the next year, man. Very good job with that. Let's see if he can hold it together. After a poor season this year, let's see if he can hold it together. And if he does, the guys that gets in, can he develop it? Those are questions we need to ask. But as much as I hate to say it, man, the Florida trajectory is up on the program. But this year, I don't even know if they win 3 or 4 games. Put your foot on their throat, Clark. Put your foot on their throat.
There you go.
And they shouldn't even score a point in Jacksonville.
Somebody.
I want to break them. I want to break those.
You know what?
I hate Florida. Too many bad memories down there. It's time to go down there and absolutely embarrass them. Just run them out of the stadium. That's what I'm looking for this year in Jacksonville, is to run them out of the stadium.
So you're thinking a shutout. Or you want to call it, Adam?
Oh, I'm going to call it. The fourth quarter, when they do their little, where are the boys from Florida? Blue crap, when they sway. They're going to have to go 2 sections over to connect to the next person and put their shoulder around to get a line to actually sway with.
That save's going to be empty.
That side's going to be empty right there, Clark. That's how I feel about that.
Oh, man. I love it, Adam.
I hate them, and I'm glad they're down. And just bury them in the dirt even more. And let Steve Spurrier be in that booth. Let Steve Spurrier be in that booth, Clark, in that little VIP section up there, Clark, with all his free drinks and fruit trays and whatnot. Let him be up there and let him see it. Let him see it. Come full circle.
I like
Come full circle from 1995. I love it.
I like it, Adam. If you couldn't tell, Adam does not like the University of Florida. And neither do I. I mean, you can't be a Georgia football fan and not like those guys.
Hate them. What I'm especially excited about is when, in the years down the road, whenever they're doing the construction, and we go to Gainesville, that's when we owe them boys something. All them people down there. Well, we'll get to that, hopefully, in a couple more years, and the programs are where they're at right now. That's when, and Kirby's still there, and we go down there, we're hanging 60.
Ooh. Yeah, because they did
exactly.
that. They did
Spurrier
that
won
when they came.
Athens. So
that's right.
The world just comes back around, and that's why I wish we could go to Gainesville this year and do it. But
we beat the brakes off them.
Well, we'll do it in Jacksonville anyway. So I love this game. This is my favorite game of the year.
Yeah.
The tradition of it, Georgia, Florida, and Jacksonville. Don't know. We say we're gonna have it a little bit longer. So this isn't the last one, but I'm excited about it. Should be a big win. And something that we had. That we grew up not being used to, Clark, is leaving Jacksonville undefeated. But, this is going to be another year. Yeah. Georgia's doing it.
Yeah. Well, they don't have a terrible defense. Their secondary will probably shine the most, but they will have a tough time slowing down Ladd McConkey, Brock Bowers, Ra Thomas, and the like, and company.
You're right.
Dawgs by man, you got me feeling good. Dawgs by 31.
31. I'm going to go.
I don't know if it'll be a shutout.
I don't think it will either. I'm going to go 45-10.
Okay.
45-10. Feels right.
I'll take that every day of the week.
Right.
I don't care who we're playing if we're winning that kind of way. All right, next week, back in Athens, November 4th versus Missouri.
This is a stretch right here, Clark. Yep. These next 3 games we talk about, this scares me. But luckily, the first 2 you get are in Athens.
Yes.
All right.
Thank God we're not going to Columbia, Missouri for this one. You can't look past these guys. You see what happened last year.
Yeah, man.
And I don't think it was necessarily we were looking past them. I think we just didn't play good football. And if you ask Kirby or any of those guys, they'd probably tell you the same thing. They do have a veteran offensive line and running backs. I do think they have an identity crisis at quarterback. Because they've got Brady Cook, who I think kind of solidified himself as a starter last year. Late last year.
Yeah, that's right.
And then they got a Miami transfer, Jake Garcia. So
and then they got Sam Horn, sophomore quarterback that was highly. So I mean, there's three guys in the mix there, Clark. And I don't know who it'll be. Cook played poor the first part of the season, but started to pick it up in the back half. So I don't know. And they're really high on Horn and then the Garcia kids. So it'll be interesting to see how Eli plays his cards coming in.
I tell you, he might be on the hot seat a little bit. If he doesn't produce.
They should go 8-4 this year. Without a doubt, they should be an 8-4 football team. I don't think they should be any less than 8-4 with what they have, what the rest of the East looks like, and their schedule is, man. They got a good defense coordinator, man.
Yeah.
Good defense coordinator. We saw it firsthand last year. Very physical defense, and you got to have offensive production, something they lacked, I think, last year. And if they get a little bit of offensive production to counter their defense, then they should win some football games. And I think they'll beat somebody they're not supposed to. It's just not going to be Georgia and Athens, especially after what happened last year.
Right. Dawgs win by 24.
Boom, I like it. Yeah.
I mean,
why not?
Why not?
Why not?
I get too conservative.
Yeah.
Especially preseason, think about these games. Oh, I don't know. It could be close. And then Georgia just comes out and just blows them.
Just beats the brakes off of them. I love it.
Amazing.
That's what we said. Be obnoxious about Georgia.
Yeah. Why not? Live it up.
Live it up, man. Let them know.
Oh, man. All right. Next week, November 11th, versus Ole Miss. And this is where, Adam, I get a little concerned.
I do too, Clark. This is the one right here, Clark.
Yep.
This is the one right here.
This game, I believe, worries me more than any other game in the regular season because Ole Miss has a pretty talented football team. Obviously, offense, a lot of offensive firepower. Quinshon Judkins is the real deal. Obviously, we saw that last year, returning for his sophomore season. Adam, I didn't realize he had 1,567 yards last year.
Stud.
That's insane.
Stud.
As a freshman.
Stud. Oh, yeah, he's a stud. Man.
And they ran the ball, I think, better than almost everybody in the SEC. Returned a lot of guys on offense. I tell you.
Yeah.
Man, this is going to be a challenging, difficult game. I think Georgia ends up, we pull away in the second half, win it. But I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means.
No, Clark, I don't think it will. I'm nervous about this game. And this is where I start. Right before we went through the whole schedule, I studied the defensive line. The defensive line, if it's to the standard that it's been the past couple of years, Georgia will be another championship football team. But this is where I feel scared about it if it's not up to that standard, Clark. You just mentioned Judkins. If you allow him to gash you, and you can't stop the running game, man, and you allow Lane Kiffin to be a balanced attack on you.
Yeah.
Then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You're in trouble. You don't want to get in a shootout with Lane Kiffin, especially late in the season right there, and they're firing on all cylinders. If Jackson Dart has improved, another year starting at Ole Miss, he is the guy, and I think he will be from what it sounds like. If he's much improved, man, and if you can't get a pass rush and make him uncomfortable, and you can't stop the running game, and you allow them to be balanced, then especially looking ahead to what's coming next week, potentially. It could definitely be something that might not turn out well. But I don't see that happen. I think Georgia will be able to stop the run first and foremost, that they will be doing all season long, and then I think they will be able to generate a pass rush. And Ole Miss will score some points, but like you said, Clark, defense is not the strong suit in Oxford, Mississippi under Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
But Pete Golden will make them a little bit more respectable, but not respectable enough for how Georgia's offense will be clicking at that point in the season. At home, Georgia wins this game. I like what you said. I'm going to go 31-17.
Okay. Yeah. I think this is a very one-sided football team. Just looking at it right now.
Yeah.
They've got an explosive offense, obviously. They remind me of last year's Tennessee team. Pretty good offense coming in to the season, but their defense is just going to be constantly out of breath. I think Pete Golding has his work cut out for him in this one. Whoever wins, this is a huge football cliche, but whoever wins the line of scrimmage, whoever runs the football the most, the best, the most efficiently is going to win this game.
All right.
But give me the Dawgs by 14 and kind of a sloppy game.
Okay.
I don't know.
I
Maybe
like
a turnover or two.
I think it's sloppy.
Grudge
I
match.
agree. I agree, man. I agree. Just survive and advance, man, to the big one.
To the big one. November 18th at Tennessee.
Bum, ba, ba, bum, ba, 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 bum, ba, 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 bum, bling.
You think this is going to be CBS?
Yeah, I mean, the bums that we've done thus far have already been announced as CBS games. I'm calling my shot right now.
Oh, okay.
Calling my shot right now, CBS 3:30. Calling my shot. Hadn't been announced yet. I just called it.
You don't think it's going to be a night game?
Like 3.
Well, CBS gets the rights. That's true.
Right.
Yeah, they're going to take it.
Hey,
and I'm okay with that.
I'm all right with that.
Or do they do a double header?
Ooh, I don't know.
I don't know who else plays
double header weeks out, and I don't know that. I don't know. I don't know.
Anyway, November 18th at Tennessee. Same thing as Ole Miss, high-powered offense, but a lackluster defense. Unless they've just improved drastically, I think Georgia, we're going to win this. It's going to be tough, okay? This is a very old football team, Tennessee is. Listen to this.
Yeah,
I looked at their roster last night. They have about 19 total seniors on both sides of the ball who are projected to start in their respective positions.
Really?
19. A lot of old guys.
That is, Clark. That is.
A lot of old guys who have not beaten the University of Georgia.
Dang right, baby.
So don't be fooled, y'all. Just because Jalen Hyatt and Cedric Tillman are in the league doesn't mean they won't have experience on the perimeter. I think they've got a squirrel guy, and I mean, they've got some weapons on offense, right?
Yep.
And I think we'll start to see that in the season. But I don't think Joe Milton is going to be as good as Hendon Hooker.
No, man. I'm going to tell you this right now, Clark. Georgia, we talked about the Ole Miss game. The guys, Brock Bowers, these juniors that are going to go to the draft, and these seniors aren't going to lose their last home game. And they're not going to lose here to Tennessee, their last SEC game, man, especially if they're undefeated with that goal in mind, man. Too much maturity. The moment will not be too big in Knoxville, even if it is a undefeated versus undefeated or a one-loss. Basically, winner takes all for the East. Georgia is the moment will not be too big for them. I still think the moment will still be too big for Tennessee, like it was last year, Clark, even if it is in Knoxville and a winner-take-all situation. But, hey, this is what I'm going to say. It will not be a winner-take-all situation. Georgia would have already clinched the East by this point because Tennessee will have 2 to 3 losses by this point.
Yeah, that's a good point, Adam. That is a very good point. Look at Tennessee's schedule. They do have several challenging games before the Georgia game.
I think we're just getting too high on them. That automatically assuming that this game is going to be a what would this 10-0 team versus a 10-0 team or 9-1 team? You know, for everything like a top 5 matchup again, like it was last year. No, I don't think it is. I do not think. I think Joe Milton has a heck of an arm strength, but you got to have accuracy, man. You got to have accuracy, and I just don't think.
Well, you got to have a defense to complement.
And you got to have exactly. And will they be improved? They got to be improved more than they were last year, but still not enough to the standard of what it takes to win Southeastern Conference championships, man, and division championships as well. So this is why I think this is going to be a very satisfying win, especially if you do want them to come in there and still have their SEC East hopes up and alive, because it'll be very satisfying to go into Neyland by the river right there and beat them again. Let them know, Clark. Let them know who Daddy is. Let them know who Daddy is. Let them know that they have not been to the SEC Championship since 2007, and that's the way it's going to stay because Kirby Smart owns them. After the Hail Mary that happened in 16.
Which was a fluke, let's be honest.
It's been.
And Tennessee should have won that. They should have won that game in 16. They did. But
exactly.
Hey, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this now. I've said this before. I've said it. I'm going to say it now, and I'm going to say it again in a few months from now. But the past, 3 times we've been up to Neyland. Yeah. Granted, we didn't play as good of Tennessee teams. We've beaten them by an average of 23 points.
Woo! I love it.
Or maybe it's more than that.
Probably might be.
I think it might be 28, something like that. Just bizarre. Plus 20 points. So
yeah, man.
I feel I'm still worried. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Any given Saturday, Georgia could go into Tennessee and
easily
play an
lose
awful
this game.
Easily
lose it. And the crowd be rolling, man. And maybe Milton and the new receivers that he has are firing on all cylinders. You know, with hypo, and then you got to tip your hat to them. But I just don't see it happening. But yes, it'll be interesting to see where both programs are on November 18th, man. But I still see another Georgia win.
Me too.
I'm actually more concerned about the week before this one, Clark.
I'm with you. I really am.
I don't know why. I mean, just the placement of it, man. Like the whole narrative of overlooking a team to get to the game everybody's been talking about since beginning of the year.
Since last year.
Yeah, last year.
No,
exactly.
since last
Tennessee
year, played us last year.
That's back in Neyland, man. But yeah, Georgia could easily lose this game. I just don't see it. I don't think they will. I don't think they will. Giving them 11-0. Again, I mean, I don't know. We're homers. Yeah, call us whatever, but 11-0.
Yep. I like it. I'm with you.
Yeah.
11-0. Hey, make it 12-0. This is our last cupcake game of the season. at Tech.
We're going to the North Avenue Trade School, aren't we?
Yes, Nats.
The
GNATS.
Oh, man. Nothing like a Tech Saturday.
Oh, my gosh. I'm telling
Bobby
you, Adam,
Dodge Stadium.
there is nothing better than having Thanksgiving and then going that Saturday to Atlanta.
Already looking ahead because we're fans and we could do it to the SEC championship.
Yeah.
You know, looking at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the top of it, and say, hey, we'll be there next Saturday.
Exactly. There is no more satisfying
Good
feeling.
12 o'clock kickoff on ABC, Clark. And you go and you beat Tech, and then you go to the Chili's and watch the Iron Bowl. I mean, a tradition like none other, baby.
I love it, Adam. This honestly is one of my favorite road games because, too, I mean, it's honestly Sanford Stadium Junior, Bobby Dodd. Or no, they've renamed it. They've renamed the stadium to some car brand. I think it's Hyundai.
That's about right. I could see that.
Anyway.
See that with...
Anyway, I call it Sanford Stadium Junior. It's going to be obviously going to be a Georgia football takeover. We invite you.
Foreign made car is now the sponsor. They've sold out to a foreign car brand.
I think so. Yeah, that sounds about right. Brent Key. Here's the thing. I think a lot of people, they saw what he did last year, the last game of the season against Georgia. I mean, they played decent,
respectable.
But listen, he's going to struggle just as much as our good friend of the show, Mr. Jeff Collins.
Yep.
So,
that's right.
Adam, I don't think, I really just don't think Tech will ever figure out a way to engineer a relevant football team in the 21st century.
All right.
I can't name you a singular football player on this Georgia Tech roster.
Right.
I don't care.
Right.
Give me the Dawgs by 153 points.
Boom.
Yep.
I love it. But yeah, it's going to be a bloodbath. It's exciting. Love this game. Love that you have Tech at this point before the SEC championship. Traditionally, 12 o'clock kickoff. Usually get it wrapped up in the first half, get your starters rested, no injury, and get ready to roll in Atlanta for another Monsters championship football game.
Exactly. All right. And this is where the fun really begins. Here's where we're going to talk about postseason play. Now, some people, for whatever reason, consider the SEC conference championship games in the regular season.
That's dumb. No, supposed
I don't do that.
It's not a given.
Right.
It's not a given.
Exactly.
You got to earn it, baby. You got to earn it. This just ain't on the schedule. You're not going in the grocery store and getting the paper, by the counter right there. It's got your local high school schedule and everything on it, and Georgia football schedule and whatnot.
Yeah.
You don't see the SEC championship on there as a mark that this is going to happen. Yeah, it might be like in parentheses or an asterisk right there. You got to earn this one, baby.
You do. You
got to earn it.
You do. And I think Georgia earns their way into the SEC championship unscathed.
Again.
I think we're both in agreement on that. And Adam, if that happens, let's just take a moment.
Let's
take a moment here.
Say it.
If Georgia goes 12-0 this season,
for the third straight year, 12-0,
that'll be 3 seasons of regular season undefeatedness.
Or don't wake me up. This is amazing. Yeah. The dreams just it's crazy.
We got to get to that point, and that's not a given, right? But
hey,
chances are,
man. It looks good. It looks good, man. It looks good. I know we're sounding just too much of a homer thing. Some fan not of Georgia will listen to us and be like, "Look at these two random idiots talking." Georgia 12-0 again. Well, we've called it again.
Yeah,
and
go back and watch our other season previews. We've said this was going to happen, and it has.
There you go. That's right.
Georgia's going to play. Adam, I believe.
Yep.
Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm
You're there?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay.
100%.
Now, let me ask you this. This is where it gets interesting. Do you have Alabama going into this game undefeated?
No.
Okay.
It'll be like 21. I think they will drop to either LSU or A&M. I think A&M and College Station.
Okay.
They're going to drop a game.
All right.
But I do not think they'll drop 2 or 3 like people are saying.
Okay.
They will drop one game. I do not think LSU is going to be as good as it's hyped up to be. A lot of people are saying LSU will win the West again. Or even A&M, the 3-team race in it. But I think it's going to be Alabama and Saban.
Okay.
And I want it to be Alabama and Saban. I'll say it here in a minute. We'll get on that.
Okay.
But yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I'm right there. No, I'm right there with you. I have Georgia at 12-0 and Bama at 11-1.
Okay.
Alabama, I think, is going to drop one of the following games. Okay. At A&M.
Yeah.
Adam, you got me hyped up the last time we talked about this. At Kentucky.
Yes, I'm telling y'all, watch that. Watch them beat them like 53.
53
I'm going to be hyping up the Alabama-Kentucky game in Lexington for the next couple months, and then it's just going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah.
But I'm staying on that horse, baby. I'm staying on that horse.
Look what Kentucky did to us last year.
I'm telling you, man, it's going to be
late in the
free.
season.
Hey, and you know what? I even dug deep enough to realize. You know what happened last year on that date in Lexington, Kentucky?
What's that?
You know what the weather was doing?
What?
It was snowing, Clark.
Was it really?
Yes, sir, it was. It was snowing
It was
in Lexington
freezing.
on the date in 2022 that in 2023 Alabama's going to Lexington, Kentucky. There was some snowfall. There was some snowfall, Clark.
Okay,
Do you think Saban's going to like that snowfall?
No.
No, he's not. He's going to be sitting there in his parka. Probably going to stay in the booth. I mean, he's going to be freezing.
His houndstooth scarf.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So,
Hey,
I mean,
but you're right, though, Adam. I'm
That's it.
serious. That's a late season
Exactly.
game at Kentucky. That might be
Watch
one.
out.
At Auburn, they don't play well at Auburn.
Yeah.
And I don't care who the head coach is. They just don't play very well.
No,
there.
they don't.
They've got Ole Miss at home. They've got Texas at home. They've got Tennessee at home.
Oh, God, that is tough.
And I didn't even
That's
mention
tough,
LSU
Clark.
at home.
Yeah, that's tough, man. I mean, I definitely could see it, and especially we don't know what they're going to do at quarterback.
Right.
Can you see them? Let me ask you this: can you see them going 10-2? One of the losses being to Texas, and then just one SEC loss, and still getting into the championship game, obviously because Texas won't count towards that, but no playoff aspirations, just to ruin Georgia's season.
I don't know. I don't think. I don't think they get beat by Texas.
You don't?
Alabama. Nah, I just don't see that.
Yeah,
We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
Anyway, Georgia, Alabama. What do you
Okay.
think's going to happen in this SEC championship game?
Georgia, Alabama, man. This is what I want. I want them. I don't want I'm not going to be saying, I hope so-and-so beats Alabama so we don't have to play Alabama in the SEC championship like I have, wanting to avoid them like in years before. No, bring them all. I want a head-on collision coming down the track, two friggin' Freightliners coming, and just let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Coming down the road and see what happens. Head-on collision. Let's see who the bigger man is.
I like it.
And it is time to put them to bed, Clark. And now we've said this. Is this going to be the death knell? If Kirby Smart comes in there in the Georgia Bulldogs, Clark, against Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide, especially if there's playoff implications on the line, that you can eliminate them. Send them to the freaking Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl or the Sugar Bowl, Clark. This is death knell. It is the death knell. This is the end of an era if we do it in Atlanta this year. That is what I think is at stake this year.
We said this.
I think it is.
We said this 2 years ago, right? When Georgia matched up with Alabama in 2021.
This is it.
But since that moment, since that time, we have won 2 national championships.
Exactly. This is it. Especially if you go, and I want to beat them. I want to beat them
in Mercedes-Benz.
34-17.
Yes.
Or 37-17. Just smoke them. Just smoke them, Clark, from the beginning to the end. Be more physical, and just smoke them. Now, would that be good? I think they're going to be very good. I think they're getting back to a better, trying to get, back where they can play some bully ball a little bit. Be better on both sides of the trenches. Be more physical on defense, Clark. Kevin Steele will implement that. I don't know. We'll see what kind of quarterback they have. Won't be better than Bryce Young. The receivers are not to the talent level that we've seen the past few years.
You're not talking. You're saying Jermaine Burton is not the same
I
quality
know, right?
receiver as Devontae Smith.
I know. That's unbelievable, isn't it? That's blasphemous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Blasphemous. That's right. So I don't know, man. I mean, they might be good. I'll be honest. Half of me, I know this is just sickening to say. I have to rinse my mouth out with soap after this, but is there a little bit of me that really wants to think realistically and know Georgia red and black glasses, thinking this could be a year where Nick Saban just comes up and wins the national championship?
Yeah, it very well could be.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, we're not really. We're red. We have red and black glasses on this podcast. But if you take them off and look at it realistically, with all the downplaying of Alabama being ranked 3rd or 4th, not number 1 or 2, or really number 1 like they have the past few years, is this one of the years where he just pops up, And I'll be honest, it scares me a little bit, Clark, that this is now actually the first year that we've had Georgia number 1. They're unbeatable. Everybody you listen to, man, Georgia's unbeatable. They can't lose, but injuries happen, man. Guys don't develop like you think they are. They're going to be plugged on a quarterback position, defensive line, like what I'm saying. The other is a second cornerback. How big is a missing Stetson Bennett going to be? I mean, obviously it could be huge, man. What kind of quarterback play do you need? A lot of unanswered questions, but on paper, the best that we can tell, that me and you can talk about, I think you're right, and you can't not talk yourself into them being 12-0.
Yeah.
So, no, or not being 12-0, excuse me. But and again, beating Alabama. But, hey, we're going to just go with it and say, and I agree, I think Georgia beats Alabama, man, and that is going to be a sweet, sweet night in Atlanta, Georgia, if that happens, because I think that does.
Yeah, I mean that if it doesn't do it, it's getting close.
It's getting close. But it's just another
and once again,
feather in the hat.
Yes, and once again, we're not discrediting Alabama. They're going to be a good football team. But I'm telling you,
I'm
been
thinking about it, Clark.
I know. There's been just some signs that they're just not the team that they used to be. I'm not saying, though, they can't fix those things.
Yeah, and they're trying
Hear
to.
me out.
We'll see, yeah.
Right, but I don't know. I think looking at it right now, what is today? August 13th, 2023.
Yeah.
I think we get Alabama.
I do, too.
I don't know if it's going to be a total domination like we all want it to be.
I do, too.
Modestly, I think we may beat them by 13.
Yeah. I agree.
I don't know.
I agree.
We'll see. We'll get to that bridge when we get there.
That's right.
I mean, there's a lot of football obviously to be played up to that point.
That's right.
All right. So this.
But that's what I want.
Yes, I want it too.
It's a perfect scenario, man.
Me too.
Beat them. Oh, God.
So with that said, okay, hold up. With that said, if Alabama does lose the SEC championship, right? They go 11-2.
And they go to the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl or the Sugar. Well, no, they won't, because I think there'll be a Tennessee or A&M LSU that would go to the Sugar instead. No, not the Sugar. I'm sorry. Sugar's a playoff game this year. Or what I meant is an at-large SEC bid in the New Year's Six, which would traditionally be the Sugar when it's not a playoff game, but Sugar's a playoff, so obviously they can't go to that.
Peach Bowl.
They might go to the Peach Bowl. Yeah, I see Alabama going to the Peach Bowl then.
Well, okay. So with that said, you're saying Alabama's not in your top 4, correct?
Boom. Oh yeah, if they're 11-1, which I agree with you, I think they're going to drop one in the regular season. Georgia beats them.
Okay.
They're not going to the playoff. No,
All right.
no. I will go up to freaking Texas, drive to Texas, and with a pitchfork and a lit torch, and outside the college football playoff committee office, if Alabama gets put in the playoff with one loss in the regular season, then a loss to Georgia in the SEC championship, because that would be 2 losses and recent losses too.
Yeah. Well, and no team in the history of college football playoff has ever made it to the college football playoff with 2 losses. And Georgia, there have been some and they say we picked the 4 best teams. No. That's not true. No. I mean, you go back to 2018, you can clearly see Georgia was one of the best. Granted, we didn't win every game. We don't have that problem anymore.
Yeah.
But, I'm with you. If Alabama were to somehow sneak in after losing a close game, even if it's a close game in the regular season, and then losing the SEC championship, if they still make it in, we're going to riot. Yeah.
Right. Dang right.
So, anyway. All right, let's do this, okay? So Georgia is up to this point 13-0. That would put us number 1, obviously, in the playoff. Okay. So Adam, you want me to start? You want me to give my 4 teams, and then you give your 4 teams? You want to do that?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So here are my top 4 teams for the college football playoff. Did a lot more research for this episode than I did last year. Okay. So Georgia, it's interesting. I don't know if this is going to be the Sugar Bowl or the Rose Bowl, and I'm about to tell you why, because when we match up against the 4th team, my 4th team, I don't know if we're going to want to play them in the Sugar Bowl. Hint, hint.
Okay.
All right. Georgia goes into undefeated yet again. I think they're number 1. Number 2. Okay. Big Ten. I'm not going Ohio State, though. I do think they're going to have a really good football team. I'm going with Michigan, Adam.
Okay.
They're absolutely loaded with talent on both sides of the ball. Arguably the best offensive line in the nation. I said arguably.
Yeah.
Great defense. Amazing running backs.
Terrible schedule.
Terrible schedule.
Nobody. I mean, nobody with a pulse until Ohio State. Literally the first 11
games.
Well,
they go to Penn State, though.
Well, yeah, Penn State. But
I tell you, they shouldn't have lost that game last year to TCU, and they know it.
Yeah.
I think they're going to drop a game in the regular season. They're not going to be.
Think so?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be undefeated.
You talking about one before Ohio State and then beat Ohio State?
Right. Yes. They beat Ohio State. I think they're going to go into Penn State and lose.
Okay. I like it.
So that's my number 2 team. My number 3 team, we're going out west. Give me USC, Adam.
Ooh.
Okay. It's a little bit of a cheeky pick here.
Ooh.
Maybe the best offense in the nation. Maybe.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're led by Heisman frontrunner Caleb Williams. He had 52 total touchdowns last year. That's insane. They're going to have a stable of running backs, including who we mentioned earlier, Marshawn Lloyd, transferred from USC Junior, South Carolina. Defense is going to be their biggest question mark, obviously. They looked atrocious at times It looked like they didn't know how to. It looked like they had never performed a tackle drill at practice.
Really?
Yeah, it was bad.
But
if they get that cleaned up, if they can get some turnovers, I think this may be a pretty dangerous team in the Pac-12. Let's see. They've got some tough games, though. They go to Notre Dame.
Right.
They play Utah at home. They play Washington at home. And they go to Oregon. But even if they drop one, I think they still should be in the Pac-12. If they were to lose in Notre Dame, it wouldn't matter.
Right.
It would hurt their playoff chances. But I don't think they're going in undefeated.
Yeah.
But that's my third team. All right.
I like it.
Lastly, my fourth team. This might shock a couple of people.
Right.
I'm going with the Bayou Bengals. Give me LSU. And here's what's going to happen, okay?
Okay.
Alabama's going to beat LSU in the regular season. They're going to own the tiebreaker, go to Atlanta, okay?
All right.
Alabama's going to lose to Georgia in the SEC championship.
Eliminate them.
LSU's going to backdoor their way into this thing.
Pull an Alabama.
Pulling Alabama on Alabama.
Right.
And here's why I think LSU's going to be in the playoff. They have a pretty favorable schedule. They've got some tough teams they got to play. Obviously, they go to Florida State. Is that week one?
Orlando,
week one, Orlando. They go to Ole Miss. That's going to be a tough one. And at Alabama. All right?
Yeah.
Even if they drop one of those games, I think they're still going to be okay. They got Auburn, Florida, and A&M at home. Other than that, though, they're not going to have much trouble with anybody else.
Right.
Wow. So, as much as I hate to admit it, I think Brian Kelly's a good coach. He's done an excellent job year one.
Well, I'm eating crow about him.
Yeah, I am too. I'm there with you. They return 8 stars on offense and a healthy Jaden Daniels. But, the defense has to come together. They've got the pieces. That's never been the question there. Just got to gel, So that is my 4 right there: Georgia, Michigan, USC, LSU in that order.
I like it.
Adam?
I like it, Clark. This has been the toughest year I've had deciding. Let's first look at the ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference. Clemson could easily lose one game. The SEC actually beat South Carolina this year, and they're in 4 seed, right? Or, and do you see that happen? Do you see Clemson dropping a game, of course, like the Florida State, but they play them at home?
They go to NC State.
Yeah, or what I'm saying, lose when they shouldn't, and then lose to Florida State or to South Carolina and go 10-2. I don't see them being below 10-2. So, and then if they're a 11-1 team, I see them kind of sneaking in possibly. Or is Florida State gonna actually step up, make some noise, win the conference this year? But then you think about too the ACC format. This is something too that you could see happening, Clark, is they play in the regular season, then Clemson and Florida State, since now there's no divisions and they used to be in the same division, they're going to be 1 versus 2,
right?
And then they have to play again, and they could just cancel each other out.
Yeah,
I can see that. So that's why I'm saying no ACC teams.
That is exactly my thought process. So
that's what's going to happen. And then I think let's go to the Pac-12. Clark.
Okay.
Last year, the traditional Pac-12, I think is so top heavy that there's too many teams that the top heavy teams are going to just demolish the Arizona States, Arizonas. But then when they play each other, they're going to beat each other up. I think Washington and US, I don't know if they even play, but I'm just saying there's too many maybe that in conference championships between Utah, you mentioned like Oregon State could pop somebody, Washington, Oregon, USC, UCLA potentially. I think they're going to beat up on each other. And as well as I do, you got to win a lot of football games and really be undefeated and as a Pac-12 champion to make it to the college football playoff.
Yeah.
It's just how it is and how the respect the committee has for that conference. So I think USC could have another situation where they have one loss, be right on the fringe of it, and then lose in the Pac-12 championship on Friday night. So this leads me now, Clark, to the Big 12.
Okay.
To the Big 12. Texas.
Yeah.
Steve Sarkisian. Make or break year. Got to do it. Quinn Ewers. Got A.D. Mitchell in. Some transfer talent. As painful as that is to say, this is their year to do it. They either better do it or they're not going to, I think, this year. If they win in Alabama, Clark, that is such a big feather in their cap. Beating Nick Saban, beating Alabama, and winning in Tuscaloosa. They can afford then to go 11-1 and lose their traditional game to Iowa State.
And still make
the playoffs.
So you're saying 11-2.
No, 11-1. Beat Alabama.
Right.
Beat Alabama and then go lose to Kansas or Kansas State or Iowa State. You know how they traditionally do. and be 11-1, then go play Texas Tech or somebody in the Big 12 championship, Kansas State, whoever, TCU, and win that. If they are an 11-1 Big 12 champion, I guarantee you, especially Clark, especially if that one loss is not Alabama and Tuscaloosa. If they have a win against Alabama and Tuscaloosa and the brand that Texas is, it gives them one get-out-of-jail-free card. And I think if they do win that game against Alabama and Quinn Ewers stays healthy throughout the year, that I do not see the Big 12 having a team that'll give them a challenge that, I mean, yeah, they could definitely lose one, and I think that's all they would need to do is go 11-1 and they get in, because I think they're itching to get a USC or a Texas in. I think it'll be Texas this year. Give me Texas in the playoffs. They could go 8-4.
Okay.
They could go 8-4.
Yeah.
They could go 8-4. But even if they lose to Alabama and go 11-1 and run the Big 12, they still be in. I think that game with Alabama carries so much weight because they'll say it's either a good loss or the win in Tuscaloosa will be such a big thing for the committee. But, hey, I very well could be eating crow on it. Steve Sarkisian, the wheels fall off. They go 8-4. So I don't know, but I'm going to go with Texas. I'm going to go with Texas as my third seed, Clark.
Okay, number 3. All right.
Texas as my third seed, and then let's go to the SEC. Let's go ahead and say it.
Okay.
Georgia. We talked about it. Georgia's going to be number 1 seed. So I got Georgia, and then Texas as my third seed. All right, let's go to the Big Ten. Okay. Clark. Ohio State, I think, will be too good on offense, have a little bit of chip on their shoulder. They're going to beat Michigan this year. They're going to run the table, go 12-0, beat Notre Dame in South Bend, go 12-0, be the 2 seed.
Ooh.
With vengeance, man. And but I think that both teams will beat Penn State. I think Michigan will lose, but they will be 11-1. And even though their schedule's soft, as I described in the other conferences what's going to happen, they're going to put them back in, both Ohio State and Michigan back in. Michigan, the 4 seed. Georgia, Michigan, Sugar Bowl. Ohio State, Texas, Rose Bowl.
Wow.
Houston, Georgia versus Ohio State.
Ooh, man. You know, it's interesting. Really, what the difference between our two kind of things are. Models, yes. 2 games. Two games. Michigan and Ohio State.
Yep.
We disagree on who's going to win that.
Yep.
Alabama and Texas.
Yeah. That's it.
Those are the 2 games.
I'm not basing completely Texas being in it on winning in Tuscaloosa. Okay. I think there's 2 paths that I think if they do, the opportunity is so big for them. If they do win it, obviously that's going to be a huge thing. In week 2, we're going to know Texas is a big contender because they're wanting to put them in. But even if they lose to Alabama by 14 and run the Big 12 gauntlet and go undefeated the rest of the way, finish 11-1, just because it's Alabama and not Iowa State this year or something, then they'll put them in.
All right. You're putting a lot of stock into Texas. I like the confidence, Adam.
I'm just, and I can see them going 8-4 too.
Yeah.
But
it's one of those wild card teams.
It's almost due for a team like Texas to do it.
Sure.
And I'll throw this out there as my sleeper pick, Washington out of the Pac-12.
All right. I like it, Adam. I like it. Okay, so one more time, just for the people. Mine, 1 Georgia, 2 Michigan, 3 USC, 4 LSU. You got who again?
I got Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, Michigan.
Okay. And you said Georgia and Ohio State, 1 versus 2 in the national championship game in Houston.
It will be 1-2, I think.
I'm going to go, Adam, Georgia and Michigan in the national championship. What if either scenario I think would be a lot of fun.
Can you imagine the last 3 games of the season, Clark? This is just dream fantasy to cap off 15-0 back-to-back championships. Beating Alabama in the SEC championship, but then going and beating Ohio State and Michigan. That's what I want. I want them both in the playoff because I want both those Big Ten traditional powerhouses in the playoff, and you beat them both, Clark.
That would be fun.
You go beat Michigan again, Jim Harbaugh again. He'll leave for the NFL after that. After Kirby beats him again, Clark, he will leave to the NFL and then go beat Ohio State, who's going to be just out of control wanting to beat Georgia so bad, man. And then you go do it again to them. That is a fairy tale. The only thing that can make it better if Clemson was in there. But,
and if Stetson Bennett were still around.
Right. Cool. But if Clemson was in there too. But beating those Big Ten powers, man, that's what I want. That's what I'm going to go with.
I like that, Adam. I like I said, I don't care who we play as long as we get to that 15th game this season. That's what it's all about. Let me just talk about a couple teams that, and we kind of brought these up, but Texas, I think they'll finish 11-2. Very talented team. They got a lot of upside. Florida State, Adam, and this is a team you just alluded to. I think you're right. I think that scenario where Clemson gets Florida State at home, but then Florida State gets Clemson
and
Charlotte.
Yeah.
They kind of, like you said, they kind of cancel each other out. I think we're both in agreement there. That would be a very interesting scenario.
It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, very well, one of them could come out of there with one loss and then have a big win over the other in the conference championship and catapult them to getting in, too. You can see that. A lot of different scenarios, man.
And like you said, it's different this year because ACC's had 2 divisions. This year they are all in one, so it's just the top 2 teams, which we're going to assume are going to be Clemson and Florida State. Could be somebody else. Alabama, you know, they're going to be really good, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
But will they be elite, Adam? I don't know. They just haven't played well on the road in the past couple of years. There's a lot of evidence supporting that.
Yeah.
They do have a true identity crisis at quarterback. They've got new coordinators. You know, maybe they gel, but, you know, they've got some sneaky tough games this year.
They do.
But with all that said, it's almost like you can't count them out.
No, you can't.
You can't bet against Nick Saban.
You can't.
But if you don't make the playoff this year, I'm not saying people are going to call for Nick Saban's head, but you're going to get some Alabama fans kind of questioning what's going on.
I love it. I love it, especially if Georgia's the one to put them to bed. I think that the key to that will be the one regular season loss. They need to come into Atlanta like they did in 21, 11-1, dropping a game, and then Georgia finish a drill in Atlanta and beat them. And then I think that's when just a breakdown in Tuscaloosa happens. I mean, if my scenario or either one of our scenarios plays out, it's going to be mass pandemonium breaking out. If Georgia beats Alabama again, and then Georgia goes on to slay another Ohio State, Michigan powerhouse come into the playoffs again, and Georgia bests them again for the 3rd year in a row, one of them or both of them.
Whew.
I love it,
Adam. I'm going to steal something from you. Inject that in my veins,
straight in this vein.
And I don't even like needles, but you know what, Adam? Give me the Dawgs for a 3-peat.
Boom! Boom!
Give me, and you know what? We're all going to get tattoos on our fannies.
Let's go! Yes.
I'm going to get a big giant 3.
I love it, man.
With 3 college football. You know, and I don't know why, but it almost happened the exact same way it happened last year. I was in the shower.
Yeah.
Okay. This is where I do a lot of really good thinking.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. That cutting grass.
Yeah. And I got to thinking about this team and the talent we've got and our schedule. And I just, man, it's just so hard to bet. You know, it's hard to bet against Nick Saban. I think it's even harder to bet against Kirby Smart right now.
I agree.
And I want to kind of be unbiased as I can about this. But man, it's tough. And here's the thing: we can't focus this year. If we focus on 3-peating, we're going to lose.
Oh, I agree.
Okay?
I agree. Exactly.
We cannot focus. And this is something I'm so glad to know that this is not the case in Butch-Smear building.
That's exactly right.
Our team is dialed in on winning just every day. And that is a huge cliche.
The day, attack the day. Right.
And if you can do that day in and day out with the talent we've got, with the coaches we've got, with the culture we've got, we're going to win another national championship.
Give me a chill bump.
God, I just feel it, y'all. I don't know why.
It never gets old.
It's worked the past 2 seasons.
It never gets old, Clark. But everything but you know what's so great about this, Clark, is everything's like, the last time somebody's gone 3 back-to-back-to-back's been Minnesota in the 30s, man. You just don't have that in college football. History's not on your side. The numbers just don't add up for you. You're going to get beat by somebody eventually, man. You know, I mean, and the off-season turmoil that's happened in Athens, the distractions are going to creep in, all this stuff, yada, yada. You know, Georgia starting #1, target on their back this year. You know, and a lot of people think, and it very well could, something could happen. I just don't see it, Clark. I just don't see it, and that is me not being a homer, though, Clark, is truly, when you look at how loaded this football team is, now, obviously, the game of football, the ball can bounce different directions. You might not get on the even Kirby Smart teams might not get off the bus completely, you know. But I just see this team being dialed in. 3 things. I've alluded to it already in this show, but I think there's 3 things for Georgia to win. 4 things. A national championship this year. First is Lady Luck smile with the injuries.
Yes.
No big injury. No Brock Bowers going down or Carson Beck's. You know, we have good luck on the injury front, man. The second is going to be good team leaders emerging, Clark. As you get those guys, those alphas, the Jamin Dumas-Johnson, Cedric Van Prance is who I'm looking at right now, Clark. It's to be the guys to step up and keep everybody accountable.
Yep.
On both sides of the football. You have that. That's a #1 formula, I think, even more so than talent is good leadership of that talent, Clark. On the player side, we obviously know we have that from the coaching on down. #3 will be quarterback play, Clark. But I've talked about, can't talk about it enough. Quarterback play. And #4 will be the defensive line, Clark, being what they think they could be. But doing what their predecessors did, Clark, being able to stop the run and get a good pass rush, and all those 4 things that they come to fruition, Clark, go ahead and ring the chapel bell the night in January after what happens in Houston, because Georgia's winning it again, baby. Georgia's going to win another national championship for the 3rd year in a row. We're predicting a Georgia national championship here on Row 60, man. I can't believe I just said that. We've already done it 2 times, but hey, you know I wasn't going to not pick them for a 3rd time. It's good luck, it's good mojo. Georgia Bulldogs, 2023 national champions. Woo! Man, I love it, man.
Oh, I got goosebumps now.
Give it to me.
Oh my gosh. We should have just ended the show right there.
Of course we're not. Of course we're not going to not predict Georgia to win.
Yeah. I mean, we've done it the past 2 years, and it's happened.
And it's going to be special, man. It's going to be special it's going to be special, Clark, because of what this program's had to endure this offseason from newspapers, the unfortunate just tragedy, man, and then everybody and having the target on your back. This is the year that you could do it. That everybody is betting against you, or betting like coming after you, saying you can't lose, not letting. I guess what I'm saying is not letting the rat poison sink in. That'll be, just big on Kirby. I mean, this would be Kirby Smart's best coaching job to me, Clark. It's if he wins it this year because of the distractions, because everybody's going to tell them how good they are. If he keeps that rat poison out of the locker room and they do it, boom.
I'm going to tell you something. This might be bizarre. Georgia fans are going to agree with me. Anybody else, if you're a fan of anybody else, you're not going to agree with me on this. Not yet.
Yeah.
I think Kirby Smart, if he wins this 3rd one, I think you've got to start talking about him being one of the greatest college football coaches of all time.
Yes.
Okay?
To
do what could potentially be done this year.
Right.
Not a given.
Right.
If he does,
yep,
you can't say he's not.
That's exactly
up there in the conversation with the Nick Sabans and Bear Bryants.
Right.
Here's the thing about it. The only thing that's separating Kirby Smart and Nick Saban and Bear Bryant, a lot of time.
That's exactly right.
If Kirby Smart wants to stick around the University of Georgia, stick around Athens, I'm telling you, with the way we're recruiting and the way we're doing things here, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
He's going to be named one of the best.
What's amazing is when he was hired in December 2015, everybody was like, we want to be like Alabama. So go get Kirby Smart. Did you actually think that we would get to this point? But he's done it. What I'm saying is he's done it.
Yeah.
He's done it, and we need to enjoy every second of it because this is going to be one of the best football teams talent-wise you've ever seen on the field. That doesn't mean that it translates into 15-0. Yes, that's where the start is. You got to have those guys. You got to have the Jimmies and the Joes. But like we talked about, injuries happen, ball bounces certain ways. Voodoo stuff happens in the Southeastern Conference on any given Saturday, especially in October and November, man. So that's not a guarantee, but dang it, it's nice to know that it is one of the most talented Georgia football teams, or college football teams, period, from first string on down, man.
I love it. Oh, man. I'm excited. Well, we've got a great season ahead of us, folks, and we really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It helps us to grow our community.
It helps the algorithm.
It does. Good word. Yeah, that's right.
The algorithm.
You know your stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dang right.
If you're watching on YouTube, comment below what game you're most concerned about this season. And give us your top 4. We'd love to hear from you. Right quick. Let me do this.
Okay, give it to us.
I said I had some people who submitted their top 4 from us earlier.
All right.
Here we go. Alec Ville. He's got UGA, Michigan, LSU, FSU.
Yep.
I like that.
Kind of what we talked about could happen. Yeah. Absolutely.
Jim Wilcox, pretty similar.
Yep.
UGA, Michigan, Penn State, USC.
Yep. Two Big Ten teams could definitely see that.
Yep. And then our boy Rich Beck from Buffalo, UGA, Ohio State, USC, LSU. Yeah. That's very similar to mine. We have Michigan and Ohio State flip. So
I like it, man.
Good stuff. So drop us yours below in the comments.
And that's the thing. There's always somebody like TCU came out of nowhere last year that who knows, man. That's why we love the game. It's going to be fun to watch, man.
Exactly.
Our prediction might be blown up, but that's why it's so much fun to do this in August and see where you're at in December, man.
Exactly.
About the sport we love.
All right, next episode will be 2 weeks from this today, Wednesday. Boom. Okay. Well, this is honestly like 2 episodes into one. We may do something special next week, but we'll see. We'll see
where it goes.
And be on the lookout because we are doing a live call-in show for the UT Martin. I have to remind
So, Clark, you're telling me the next time we do this, baby, it'll be game week.
It's going to be game week.
Traditional format, baby. The traditional format that we all love.
Yes.
Games of the week.
Concession
Clark's
stand
fun
report.
facts. Concession stand reports.
Adam's napkin notes. That is
Adam's napkin notes. I mean, all the good fun stuff, man, is coming back. Man,
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited. Adam, wrap this thing up. This is a good one.
we have made it, guys. We are here. We are here. Hope the school year is starting out good for all the people, listeners that we have that are in the education system, man. And but hey, it's the best time of the year. A little bit of a hint. Sometimes I can feel, even though it's like 93 degrees, in my mind, it make myself feel like there's a little fall bluster out there. You know what I mean? Look like a little breeze. If I catch one little breeze, I'm like, oh, it's a little kind of fall.
Yes.
Even though it's really not. But, you know, that's kind of the mindset, the attitude. That's what I'm going to leave everybody with this week. It's all about your mindset and your attitude, baby. Go through life with a positive attitude, man. Enjoy every single day. Georgia football is coming, and it is going to be the most talented football team on paper that the University of Georgia in college football has ever seen. I'm going to say that right now. It is the most talented football team that anybody's ever seen. When you look at it, the roster from 1 to 85, man, that's how special this is. Hey, last year and the year before were not a fluke. Georgia's number one for a reason and will continue to be. It's going to be another special year chasing 3 in Athens, and golly, aren't we blessed this University of Georgia?
Sure
Our
are.
home state team, our alma mater, y'all's favorite football team, and we're going to be along for the ride, good Lord willing, with y'all every single week. It's cranking up. Get ready. Go Dogs, baby.
Go Dogs. Oh, that's